So in this tutorial, I will show which editor I use. I use the Visual Code editor, which is a free editor, and it includes many different plugins that will allow us also to improve our working experience, and how the Hello World app or the Vue app is structured, so you can start working on it and making the different changes different changes in the development. So let's see. First of all, we will download the let's go to google.com and let's look the Visual Code Studio Code. Okay. If we enter to the Visual Studio Code, you will see that there is a stable build for Mac. In your case, it will probably, if it's not Mac, it will show something else. And we will download this app. It will save it, and then once I double-click the app, it will start it will extract it like we did with the Node.js, and now that I double-click the Visual Code, it should open the app itself. Now, let's see how it works. If it works everything well, great, it works. Now, thing is that because it's outside of the application folder, so the idea would be to move the Visual Code app to the application folder. Copy Visual Studio Code, and we go to the application folder and we paste it here. Okay, I just passed it. It should appear somewhere. There it is. Okay, and using this we can execute the app, and let's see. Okay, and locate it and keep it on the dock here. Okay, great. So now that we have the app working, it will be interesting to open the folder where is the Hello World application that we created for Vue. Okay, that's what we're going to open right now. We go, we open it, and then we can see the structure that I mentioned in the last tutorial. And what interests us always is the components folder. Now, when I press on Vue down here, you will see that the Visual Code editor is suggesting me to install this VTour extension so it can show, it can paint a different that it can show me in a better graphical representation the files themselves. And I want it to happen. I wanted to install all the necessary plugins to work well with Vue, so I'm going to install it. And if you are looking for other things that may improve your experience in the Visual Code editor, you can look for more. I mean, this is not the only systems. I, for example, like to put the settings, for example, the size of the font. I like to put it larger so I can see it better, and for you as well. Font size, controls the font size of the picture. Great. I think it should be showing it bigger right now. Yes, I think it's bigger than before. We can even make it bigger if we want. Preferences settings. If I put it here by 18, I can go back, close the settings. It should show it even bigger. Okay, great. The Hello World component, as you can see, okay. Well, first of all, let's see how it's in a bigger size distributed. Node modules are the modules that the app uses and are dependent external imports. Okay. In theory, you shouldn't touch anything in the Node module for sure. This thing, we don't touch it. It's just the place where when we install the app, the npm, the Node.js downloads all the dependencies of all the components that are not ours, and we depend on them. Okay. In public, we'll see the icon of our page. Okay. In this case, it uses the default icon of Vue, and the index.html, which is the gateway to our online website app. Okay. From this forward, yeah, what it does, it invokes the app itself down here, okay, and it's executed the class or the app or the element in this case in the app.vue file. Okay, so what it does, it looks for any the div, the iv with the ID of app, of the ID app. Okay, it looks for it. In theory, there is well, the main shows us, well, this is the execution of the render of the Vue element. For now, we don't want to touch that, but what it does, it finds what it does. It finds the export, the default element that is named app, and is ID app. Okay, here, as you can see. Okay, so it really founds this, which is related to this, and in the future videos tutorial, I will explain further with more detail how it's really structured. Okay, great. So what we will in the future do is start creating complete components inside the component folder, and the idea is that each type, again, this is the logo which is being used inside here. We'll see that it's used somewhere here. If not here, then in the app here. As you can see, it's used here. So eventually, the final idea is that we will start creating our structural program-based app, which is eventually a web page, but we will have to change our method of thinking and start developing components in our web page. And the components are generally elements composed by a CSS, okay, an HTML, a JavaScript, and a point view file, which are 4 files. How does it look? How do we work with components? What we can do right now, yes, is look around in Google for Vue CLI component creator, for example, generator. Vue CLI generate component. In this case, we'll see an explanation, 2 options, say the Vue generate component npm and the Vue CLI component creator. Okay, the idea is that when you create a project, it creates your project, okay, but we may need to use another system or a new plugin for our npm that allows us to create and generate components automatically in a ordered structure. Okay, so let's put this here. What I will do is install in my npm, this extra element, which is the Vue generate component. This will install in the npm that command. That what we'll do is install or generate components automatically, so I wouldn't need to create one by one a new component. Now I have to also not warn you, but advise you that, or at least tell you that the component generated by the component generated is not exactly what we see here. It's in my opinion, is a better structured component. Okay, now let's go to dev, let's go to view, let's go to hello world, and let's go to the components, into the source folder. Let's go to the components. Great, here we are. Okay, and now I want to create a new component. Let's call it component intro component. Okay, introduction, which is eventually the first page that we're going to see. Great. So what we have to do is simply, as it says down here, to call VGC intro. This will create a component called intro. Now, it's not really, as you can see, it created a folder. In the left, it already appears. And inside that folder, we'll find the different files that I mentioned before. I forgot to mention the specs.js. These we're not going to touch. What you will generally eventually develop is generally we don't touch this file and this file. And you can see this file already points to the different sub-files that we're going to use. We will develop here, here, and here, which, if you look at it, it's much more familiar for us than the Vue file itself, because it's an HTML file and a JavaScript file and then SCSS file, which is eventually a CSS file, before it's being processed. Okay. Finally, before I finish this part of the tutorial, I need also to mention that it will be probably needed to install some other elements, because the SCSS system script, or however you want to call it, requires the installation of another component so it can work with it. If we do an npm serve, I'm not sure if npm serve, it's npm app serve, you know, this day, no? npm run serve. It may show us some error. If it doesn't, it's great, or it doesn't show any error. Okay, great. We may find ourselves in a problem in the future looking at this system. For now, it's working, so I'm not going to do anything. It's probably working because we're not really programming anything inside the CSS. In the future, if we find ourselves with the specific problem, I will explain how to fix it.